Hello everybody and welcome back to Red Eagle Politics. Make sure to like this video down below and subscribe to the channel if you are new. So this video is not a dooming video. I know that some people might get the wrong idea based off of some of the information that will be presented in this video, but no, I'm not dooming. There is a silver lining in this at the end, but if you don't feel shortchanged about this redistricting process, I don't know what to tell you because you're just not paying attention. Because yes, Republicans are still taking back the House almost certainly, no matter what happens, but it feels as if it should be a lot more. And I'm not saying they're only going to win 15. That'd be like a worst case scenario. I think they might win closer to 30 or 40 because this red wave and the magnitude of it is literally insane. It's going to be an R+7, R+8 national environment according to some of the more accurate polls like big data polling from Richard Barris, etc. And you look at redistricting though, and Republicans are getting shafted. We thought Republicans were going to pick up 5 to 10 seats because of redistricting alone. But no, they've gained 1 seat, and there's been 6 toss-up seats that have been lost, and the Democrats have picked up 7 seats on the net, which makes this a little bit harder. Obviously, it's going to be done. But there's just so much off the table, and it's ridiculous, and Republicans are doing it to themselves. The map we saw out of Missouri, which has not been finalized, but there have been 2 maps proposed out of Missouri, and if you look at the map that they currently have, that currently exists, this map, essentially you could have gotten rid of Cleaver. They don't want to do it. They're too weak to do it. They can't get it done. And Ann Wagner's district becomes more and more suburban in the process. So when she retires, who knows what is exactly going to happen to that district. I've liked what they did in Tennessee, but I'm looking at Kentucky, Nebraska, just so much left off of the table in so many of these states as we know it. And you're seeing some of these states like Ohio, where you had a map. It was not a good-looking map, admittedly speaking. And it definitely left some of the more conservative representatives in some more vulnerable seats. But the Republican-led Supreme Court, not Democrat-led, Republican-led Supreme Court decided to strike down this map as being an unfair map, which is absolutely ridiculous, especially given the ridiculous maps that we've seen out of places like California that have been finalized, where Democrats have, a ridiculous majority with some of these districts. Look at the 50th and the 51st district. Look at the way that they are gerrymandered. It is absolutely ridiculous. And we're looking at other states, and you see the Supreme Court doing the same thing with North Carolina. It's in litigation. It might actually stand. We'll have to see. But by and large, there is so much that's being left off of the table, and we understand that this court system that we have is not doing their fair duty. And you look at what they're doing in Alabama. They are almost certainly trying to strike it down so they could get an extra Democratic district in Alabama, and it looks even worse. It looks even more gerrymandered. I saw this map actually, and it probably looks like one of the most fair maps you could see out of Alabama, and it's 7-0 Republican when you look at it on the map. Same thing with, by and large, what we see in a place like Ohio. But no, we can't do this. We can't have nice things. They can have nice things in New York, in California. When they're talking about how that 10th district, you look at what they're doing with the Staten Island district. In New York, what they just passed today, it's a 22-4 gerrymander. But apparently, because of the fact that they have these high-powered attorneys on their side, no, the 10th district is fine because it benefits them. What happens in Maryland, what happens in Connecticut, what happens in Oregon, that's fine. But if Republicans try and dare to draw a map in Alabama or Ohio or Kansas that actually benefits them, or North Carolina, they're going to be hit with the hammer. No, you can't do it. And yeah, I like what Republicans have done in some states. Arizona's map is really, really nice to look at, the new map that we see. I mean, you have 2 Democrat seats in Tucson, one in downtown, the south side of Phoenix, and then you have the first, or not the first district, but the 4th district is D+1. That might, you never know, that could be a potential flip for all we know. But I like what I see. This is what they need to be doing. But instead, I mean, even in Florida, you might get a good map in Florida. I'm not going to say you're not going to get a good map, but by and large, what I've seen out of Florida is extremely disappointing so far. I think we're going to end up with a better map than originally proposed, but still not that good. DeSantis actually himself proposed a solid map, which he gets a lot of credit for, by the way. Probably one of the fairest looking maps, but Democrats are attempting to challenge that map because there is like a potential for a majority black district in the northeastern part of the state. And they think that just because a certain part of the state is a certain demographic, that you have to particularly draw that on the map, even if it means making it look complicated. And they do the same thing in Mississippi. And it's ridiculous. But what about when white people are the minority in a state like New Mexico? What about this? The fact you have 3 Hispanic majority districts. No, that's fine because white people are the ones getting shafted. But if you dare in, northeastern Florida try to draw a Republican district, no, that's going to be hit with the judicial hammer in this country. Absolutely institutionalized racism against the white majority in this country when you look at a place like Nevada, when you look at a place like New Mexico. It's ridiculous. It needs to stop now. We need to actually look and revise the Voting Rights Act at a very minimum. You add that provision because white people know you can draw maps that disenfranchise them apparently according to their own logic. But when it comes to a minority group, no, you're evil, you're being racist, and you're engaging in voter suppression, which is a made up term that they decided to use to try and start more problems in our society, but it doesn't actually exist. But beyond that point, we're looking at the fact that Democrats are gaining for redistricting. Does not mean the outcome of the House will change, but actually in some ways they could be screwing themselves over when we're looking at a place like New Mexico, where you have Hispanics moving to the right a little bit, and that likely could be enough to potentially, in a red wave environment, make 2 of those 3 districts in New Mexico Republican. And you look at the fact that in Nevada, you see Democrats the new Democrats that are taking over the DSA, they're trying to primary out some of their more establishmentarian representatives, where potentially if they lose their bids for renomination and you put these crazy far-left individuals in there, they're almost certainly going to lose. But even so, I mean, D+5, D+2, D+4, you might think that Democrats didn't really lose anything in Nevada. But when you look at it and you see, okay, well, if it's an R+8 national environment, all 3 of these candidates might end up losing because of the anger at the current administration. And then you could see Nevada be 4-0 red, which would be really something because it's that much of a dummy mander. Same thing with New Mexico. So even though they're drawing these maps like they are in places like Connecticut, Illinois, New Jersey, because they're drawn to be super favorable for their own side, they're leaving a little bit off the table because some of these districts, obviously, when you draw more districts that favor one party in a certain state, the magnitude that it benefits that party dips. And you're starting to see that like in Illinois' 13th, which, I mean, is only D+7. And the 17th district, which is really drawn weird and just super gerrymandered, hard to look at on the map, D+4. So Republicans could easily pick off some of these seats. Same thing with the 14th district and some of these other. I mean, these are kind of D+12. That's getting out of hand, you could say. But the 6th district, you never know if Marie Newman wins that renomination. It's technically possible that she could go down. It's technically possible, but we will have to see in regards to that. But that is the one silver lining, is that when they're drawing these maps to benefit themselves so much, that it's going to negatively impact them in a red wave year. Now, 2026, when the pendulum swings back, assuming Republicans retake the White House in 2024, it's going to be a lot harder for Republicans to hold on to those seats, even in 2024. But in the short term, Democrats could be headed for some major losses, even with the new maps. So that kind of is the silver lining I talked about earlier in the video. But anyways, guys, redistricting could be going a lot better, but at the same time, you never know what's going to happen. It's still going to be a red wave year. Don't necessarily give up on it, but there is a lot being left off the table, and Republicans need to get their act together because, honestly, it's a little embarrassing because we could gain 5 to 10 more seats that we won't be having. So anyways, guys, thanks for watching this video. Please like this video down below, comment down below, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell for notifications so you never miss another video. Follow me on social media. The links are all in the description down below. Join the website for exclusive content. Link is in the pinned comment. As always, guys, thanks for watching. Red Eagle out.